What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
We're
This day
here.
that it is. Yep.
That is the day, though I'm not sure either. Please excuse my sick voice. I'm a little sick.
Listen, we're all spreading it,
Yeah,
basically.
truly.
I know that this has been a super weird month for fangirls in particular, as far as
Mm-hmm.
timing, right? My power was out, so like, okay, let's move some stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
We came back, we got one episode in, and then I was big sick. Basically, I messaged Kristan last Wednesday. I was like, I'm big sick. Uh,
You're like, I feel
and
like Garbo.
I
I
feel
was
like
like,
Garbo.
no.
And I did. I was dead to the world, and it's a bummer because it's spring break.
Mm,
I was still working, but a lot of things were dead in town. But
yeah,
this
hate
was.
that.
And now you're sick. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
through the internet, you were like, here you go.
I think so. I gave it to you.
Yeah, no, it was for sure Reed. Reed gave it to me because he's been sick and he's still sick. So love that. Don't love that.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. But hey, I'm here. I read the thing. Cool. Also,
You know what doesn't make me sick?
what's that?
The deals at InStockTrades.com.
What?
Or maybe they do make me sick with happiness.
Oh. Me too.
Did
What?
you know you can get your books up to 50% off? That's a 50.
Oh my gosh. Even
50%.
60% I've seen some lately.
Sometimes. And
It's
if you
wild.
spend over $50 and you live in the United States, best
What do
believe
you
you're
get?
getting that free shipping.
Free shipping.
Bow, bow, bow.
I have to say, by the way, so I didn't place any orders in a long time, right? But
Yeah.
but lately I placed a few. And I've paid for free shipping. I'm not saying this is always going to happen, but I paid for free $0 shipping and it shipped FedEx every time. And they've come in like 2 days. And I'm like, what's happening
They've been
over at
killing it.
IST?
Listen.
They've been throwing
Killing
stuff out the door, FedEx. And it's like, what? I didn't pay
it.
money for that. Like, love it.
It's great. So we got all people in the chat. We got James with the emoji right away. We got
Love
Chris.
it. Hey,
We got
Chris.
Edgar.
Hey, thank
Icon's
you.
cool.
Thank
We
you.
got Hayden.
Hi, Hayden.
And we got Graphic Noah Vale. Hello.
Oh, your graphic's not available, but hello.
It's not Vale. So we are talking about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, it is very hard to say Supergirl. I want to say Supergirl being super.
I almost thought it. I actually was
I
like
think
beans,
you and
and I'm like, no.
because I'm so used to saying, because for years, I guess years, even just long time.
Kind of, yeah.
When Supergirl talked about Supergirl graphic novels, it was Supergirl being super, at least for us, for our crew. I was like,
always,
that's the one. But now this has come out, and I'm excited to talk to you about it because I really liked it. We were in a fight temporarily because I asked you to read this and give you a short read because we thought we had a quick turnaround, and you were like, "This is not short, and it is dense, and we are in a fight." But
that's all right. We got over it
through illness and having to move this back a million times. You've had more time to think about it.
We've made up. Now I still think it's not a quick read, but
I thought about it later. It's not really. It's not quick, I guess.
Yeah. It's okay.
I just finished reading this. It's beyond amazing. Very excited seeing you. You're covering this. Ugh, I can talk, guys. I've had a lot of meetings today. I know I don't look like it, but like I'm big boss lady. I have a lot of meetings.
I mean, you're so good at meetings.
I'm like really good. Anyways, so Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a very, I think it's a very unique DC book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's like man, the last time I talked about this, I had the words, I don't know if you can hear Elliot's Twizzler package.
I wondered if that was Twizzlers happening.
It is Twizzlers. He looked at me like, but it's a sci-fi fantasy kind of epic story where Supergirl herself has a very retro feel. Like her hair looks very retro. It feels like, and there it goes. It feels like an older sci-fi movie, like from like 60s, 70s, something you would see like, I always think about Mystery Science Theater 3000, reviewing those types of films. It reminds me a lot of that, but like not really comical, It's like that kind of vision for like space in the future, but made for today's comic and like with today's like art style. I dug it, but I'm a big sci-fi girly, a big sci-fi
Mhm.
fantasy girly, and this is a different kind of Supergirl. So like, she just turned 21. She can't get drunk on Earth. She's too close to our sun, which makes her very powerful, which makes her her metabolism faster, which means that she can't drink and get drunk, and she still wants to have that experience. So she decides to travel through space with her dog, like you do, to go get drunk at a bar. Ends up kind of being this whole situation, working with this girl who's asking her to help avenge her father. As we know, Supergirl doesn't kill, according to this. And that's like the beginning of this. And it's been like a long kind of sci-fi epic where like Supergirl's never powers, she doesn't have her ship, she's not close enough to the sun to fly, and so they have to spend months together traveling this unknown space land deal. What are your thoughts? My brain's so dead. I'm like,
Yeah, so one, okay, the girl we essentially follow who's narrating the story.
yeah.
Do you say her
Ruthie.
name is it Ruth or Ruthie?
Well, according to Comic Storm, because I watched it before I came
Okay,
back
that's
on
my
here
question, yeah.
to remind myself.
It's Ruthie,
It's been
okay.
a couple weeks. Yeah, Ruthie.
Got it. So Ruthie, when we started following her at the beginning, I was already like, what are we doing here?
Right, because you're not seeing
Because-
Supergirl yet.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know what's happening. And I didn't know anything about this book going into it, other than everyone's like, hey, you like Supergirl being super? You're going to like this. And I'm
It's
like,
a very different book.
Right. I'm like, I don't understand the correlation. But the more I got into it, I was like, okay, this makes sense to me, because I felt like I don't know what Supergirl's like in teen books. I don't know what she's like elsewhere, because I've
Yeah.
only read Supergirl being super and now this.
Yeah.
So these are my only experiences.
I
However,
think that's fine.
right. And that's my question really ultimately is like, if she's like this in everything, then she's a great character and I really like her and I want to see more. But I'm not getting that vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
this is very standalone and I don't know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I just really liked her personality, right? She was
Yeah.
very, like, for lack of a better way to put it, down to earth while not being down to earth.
He's clever. Yeah, and I haven't read enough books with. I mean, like I read a lot of books with Supergirl in them, but not in a point to a point where I feel like she's so memorable to me in those situations.
Hmm.
I enjoy her, and I enjoyed her in like some of the big events, especially because it was established that she's stronger than Superman, and I'm here for that. As
Love
a
that.
Superman fan, I'm still here for that. But there's something about the way she's characterized in these two books in particular that I really enjoy. She feels really complex. I like the way she handles things. And I think having read Supergirl being super and then this is a great, I think they complement each other well. Because Supergirl being
Yeah.
super, we get the origins, we get, not that we also get origins here, but we have more of a teenagery feel. But this is a Supergirl that feels she has a little more experience under her belt. And she shows herself to be very thoughtful and clever. And the way that she kind of set this whole story, acting like she didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won't get a spoiler of it, but there is some planning in here that she put into motion that you would not have thought that she did. In the way she holds herself, and she just, watching her go through the story, it was like she's someone that I really aspire to be, but at the same time, I felt like she held so much humanity in her. Because there's times where she seems just like she's always got it together, and there's other times where she's like, when you have the quote throughout here, we don't have to talk about where it is or what in reference to, but how it's all so big and I'm so small, that she feels that way as well, being this big superhero. Okay, she's found toys. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing, right? Like, we're, so used to certain characters and superheroes in particular being depicted as these things that can't be relatable, which is, I think, why a lot of people, have their certain heroes that are very, very flawed. And that's what I prefer in my superheroes, which is to say why I'm not a huge Superman fan, because the depictions that I personally am familiar with, and I'm not familiar with a ton of them, there is certainly less of that, right? You don't get to see as much realness and flaws with that. I know Jessica's in the chat. I'm sorry, Jessica, and you, I guess a lot of people, but like, that was what was nice for me to see in this, like, because I went into this being like, I don't care about the super fam. I do not. I love Super Sons, however, but
of course,
these have never been characters that have interested me at all. So it's like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but I did like Supergirl being super, and I liked how real down to earth that was. And this felt similar, even though it was like kind of a big epic sci-fi tale at the same time, as well as like the Ruthie character I loved.
Oh, I love Ruthie.
She was wonderful.
So let's get back to Ruthie in a second. You should just come in. What are you doing right now? Do you want to be on
Jessica,
here?
You want to just pop it?
I think Kara's always down to earth. I think like all characters, she gets to show different sides to her depending on the story. She's allowed to be complex. I really like that you wrote she's allowed to be complex, because I think there are some characters that we don't always get to see a lot of varied sides to. And that's throughout comic books. And that includes male characters as well, but it definitely includes female characters. And she's complex in a very like relatable way.
That's the huge thing, right? Like, she just it was nonstop like entertainment, and I don't even mean that as like every bit of the story is a joy, because it's very much not. She goes through a lot. So does Ruthie. Like, so does the dog. Like, there's like a whole arc of emotionality through this.
About the dog until I was like, oh wait, man, I should have thought to warn her. The dog's fine.
That's what we need to know.
Her trauma is explored well here, but also the nuance of it is explored fairly well in Loeb's Batman Superman. Okay. She's also unique in that she's older than Clark, and she has seen some stuff, but she is younger on Earth and also newer to Earth itself. It makes for interesting dynamics exploring Batman / Superman. Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to talk about her trauma in here. There's a lot to talk about in this book, about the alien races and things, but I think would it be more enjoyable for us to talk about, like, at least start off with, they do explore the demise of Krypton and how it's different than what we see often in like Clark's backstory and her backstory. And she talks about it. She opens up to Ruthie about this, following a very hilarious situation that we will also talk about, where it wasn't destroyed in a day. That's not what happened. It lived on for a while, and people were being poisoned by the materials around them. And ultimately, she worked with everyone, with the community. She saw the community slowly die and was fighting to protect it, and to the point where she had to, when they were mining to get all the stuff out from under the planet, like, she was forcing herself to work. She's bleeding. She had to hit herself to wake herself back up. Like, to see all the Kryptonians work together and still fail, I think it hurt so much more. And I think it made her story feel so much more profound than it was before, which was the typical, like, she was sent off when Clark was set off, but she went a different way, so she arrived later. That was like the normal story. But this was rough. I think it really added to her that she had so much more to mourn for than Clark. Because Clark mourns for Krypton, but he's a baby. It's different. And she had to, like, really be in it, in that trauma, and witness all of that, and then go to Earth, be a teenager. Like,
it's messed up. Big
yikes.
Yeah, and like that origin story, like, it's not something I'm at all familiar with.
Yeah.
So I liked how it was depicted. And, to touch on the fact that it's not a quick read, I will say this guy writes a lot. So there were certainly points where I was like, okay, do we need 700 narration boxes on this page? Do we? And I understand the way it was told was unique too, because you had Ruthie like narrating her experiences with Supergirl. I liked that ultimately. At the same time, it gave me the feeling of like being bogged down by narration boxes from like an older time, right? Yeah. I very much felt like, okay, what is this, Claremont? What's happening?
It feels like very sci-fi fantasy writing.
Yeah.
But in comic book form.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
So
get.
I didn't love some of that.
Yeah.
But, that's what like bogged it down more for me because I just wanted to see their adventures more. I didn't want to
Yeah.
get bogged down in narration. At the same time, like I still ultimately really liked it
Yeah.
and you know, didn't bother
Yeah,
me that much.
I really enjoyed reading through it. Now, granted, I wasn't in a rush. I was taking my time. Uh, did I forget that I was taking my time? How long it took? Yes, when I recommended it to you. But normally those are things that I don't like when I'm reading books, and
Mhm.
it will depend on the writer. There's a lot of like older comic books I don't really enjoy because the need to over narrate and over explain, which I think is not useful when you have a visual media in front of you. That's why like manga does not do that
Yeah.
because you're literally going to see it. Um, but I really did enjoy the overall narration in this book, even though it could be a little wordy, but I found myself really taking my time with it. And maybe it's just because I was really enjoying playing in the world a lot. And I liked learning about all these different races and what issues they had. Not dissimilar to like, oh, nope, it's gone. That Green Lantern book about the really cool Green Lantern. I like stories with these characters I know, but set in areas that I don't know. And it was really refreshing. Um, and I liked all the little side things of it for the most part, from what I can remember. All the side things of the different planets they reached and what their own personal conflict they had going on, like the blues and purples. I thought that was really interesting when they go into this town, and there was obviously like a color divide there, but there's only the blues now and not the purples. I miss Una. Nobody wants to squeak right now. They don't want that. She looks really sad. Fire sector. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely adore the nods to different era, even creating references that feel like they belong to more classic comics but weren't, such as the Green Sun. Yeah, that was okay. I do want to talk about the Green Sun part because I love a dig on Superman, and I love Superman. But it was already established. It's been established in the comics, right? It's canon that she is stronger than him, and so I like a little bit of a nod to that because they get to this. They're teleported to this planet that has a green sun, and apparently Superman has been teleported there before. Ultimately, he was saved, I think, by the Justice League. I can't remember what they said in the book. Um, they says the most pain he's ever been in his life. He was there for like 45 minutes, and they have to survive hours there until the
Many
sun goes
hours.
down,
Yeah.
and Supergirl can fly them away, which means Ruthie's the only one helping. And so it did feel cool at the end where she's like, huh, it only lasted 45 minutes. I'd like a little dig.
Mm-hmm.
It felt cool.
I do.
And I loved how, man, Ruthie, I wish you watched Willow because Ruthie reminds me of a character in there a little bit. But the way Ruthie ended up being a very like helpful companion through this and someone she could rely on, I really liked. And I liked watching Ruthie's progression of like her dealing with an obsession of vengeance, despite being kind of angry that the violence and things were things that she did not appreciate in her own family, like the resort to violence, and yet she was this was her focus as well. Oh man, and I won't spoil the ending, but I love how it wraps up.
Yeah. I kept wondering. I was like, how's this going to wrap up? But yeah, I really like how it wraps up.
Yeah,
Again, we are going to spoil that the dog is fine, which,
the dog is fine.
I was a little worried, but I was like, they're not going to do that, are they?
Yeah,
They didn't. So we're good.
yeah. Like, the villain was interesting too because they're chasing after the villain, and he ends up getting into control of like a really an orb of significant power with the ability to teleport anyone anywhere. But it's not really so much about him as it is what he's done, how that has affected Ruthie, and her need for vengeance. I just love her exploring. I love that Supergirl had plans the whole time.
Yeah.
She was like, I know what this girl needs, and I know that I can't approach this there isn't a simple way for me to approach this with her for her journey. And I need to be someone else and be different and help her through this.
Yeah, and I really like how that all wrapped up.
So
Like,
cool.
that was awesome. Yeah.
Ah, I just love a good gotcha moment. I mean, not like it's not like that, but just like it was there's a nice, I
It
wouldn't
was
call
a
it
kind of a twist,
kind
kind
of a
of.
twist, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even
It was
more of a
unexpected.
twist at the end in a
Oh
comical
yeah.
way,
Oh
which
yeah.
I also very much enjoyed.
Yeah, that was great. Just to see, here's the thing about this. I thought it was wonderfully self-contained. Like,
Absolutely.
not really necessary to add anything else. At the same time, I would read a whole other book about Ruthie's journey after this.
Yeah, me too.
I think that would be really fun to explore. Throw away the narration boxes for me personally. I know some
Yeah.
people liked it. Um, and I think that worked well for her telling the story about Supergirl.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like just her own stuff.
Oh
I
yeah.
just want to see her now, and after going through such a thing, like what's going on? Like I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
interested. I
And
don't think it'll happen.
I would
But
like more. I would like more Supergirl, self-contained over here.
mhm.
And maybe it's because I'm tired. Like I love seeing all my DC people interact. I love them. I would like to see her elsewhere. Robert, I love you. I was surprised they brought in Comet. Yeah, I was not expecting that. And then he was something else. Wasn't expecting that either. But Comet's very cool. It makes me think of Rainbow Bright. I think that's why I like it. Because Rainbow
That's
Bright
funny.
also had a horse.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome. But yeah, I know there was a lot of books like this in the Infinite Frontier where they kind of did some like one-off stuff just to see how it worked. And I had so much fun playing around in this that I would like more. But I know that DC doesn't always do that because like, well, we need books that are going to tie in with other things. But I want more space adventure stuff. More Far Sector, more of this.
Yeah, just more standalone goodness, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to just be able to like jump in a story like this
Oh,
and
and just
not
relax
feel
with
like
it.
and not feel like I have to like read like 400 other things. I mean, I know it's something like we talk about a lot and it's,
Yeah.
it's been said, but especially for someone like me who hasn't, I've not read a ton of the main
Yeah.
DC stories even, right? I want to be able to just jump in a thing and enjoy it. And I feel like we get that a lot with stuff like, you and I have read in common for DC even. Like
Yeah.
even Batgirl by Simone. She did a great job of like, let's contain the story. So you don't need to have read anything else. Like that shouldn't be a shock to me, but it is
Oh,
still
it's
with the
so
big two,
difficult.
it's hard.
And then there's some stories that, on their own are really good, but they didn't end up getting picked up or they decided to rope them into like an event. And it just makes it so hard to go back in and finish it or read any of it, which is such a bummer. I feel like there's got to be a better way to do it, but I also know how it is. And the big two, and it's always events.
Yeah. People still love it. People still buy it. And that's why it's happening. It's a business.
And I think I was interested at the beginning when I was getting into it. But I feel like it's easy to get burnt out on that so quickly. Yeah. Like I just don't care about the big events anymore unless it like really involves heavily a favorite character of mine. I'm just like, again, like I know they do it to sell books, but man, it burns me out as a whole as a reader because I just want to spend time and read a good story. People always like, get your politics out of my story. I just want a good story. Who cares about what they are? Keep events out of my story. Just let it be a story. Let me have a good time with it. And that's what this is. And I'm so glad it's being adapted to a film. I think it'll definitely lend itself to that. I am curious if he will keep the same sort of art direction. I would be really happy with that. Who knows with DC and Warner Brothers? It's a crapshoot. Who knows? Not me. In an ideal world, I'd be like, hey, DC, just make a bunch of movies. Don't have them connect. Who cares? And just make them good. Just make them good. I don't need a verse. Okay? I don't need a Gunverse, Snyder. I don't care.
No, yeah. Also, Hickvengers. I know that's not DC, but like,
but
just throwing it in as an event that I didn't enjoy. So,
oh, Hayden, sweetie. Just want to say, seeing you guys live makes me excited about college tomorrow. Right, my day. The family cat passed this weekend, so it's been a rough week. This is cheer me up a little. Hey, we love you.
Hayden, you're the best. So sorry to hear that. That's
Yeah.
awful.
I'm glad we can cheer you up, even though I'm really tired and Kristen's all sick.
Yeah. I'm glad you're here.
Also, I find that big events are hard to keep up with and can sometimes interrupt a really good run when they suddenly change direction and tie in with the event. Absolutely.
Yeah. And even like, because we're big Omni readers, as everyone here is, even when they put all that together and they map it out nicely, I'm still like, why? Like, it's certainly hard for me. I find myself gravitating towards the runs that are not doing that.
Yeah.
Or not doing that as much, or like, and I know there's some stuff behind me that does, but at the same time, what behind me that I've read, like I'm still like gravitating towards those, like that Young Adventures run that didn't do that, like this run that didn't, it's just so much easier to not have to deal with it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and there's some runs I really like from the past that were ruined by that. Like, I love Outsiders, but when they had a big event, it really messed all of it up, and they had a good thing going. And that's similar with a lot of books. And I just don't think I care to keep up. I think it's expensive to keep up too. I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I had all the money in the world to always have the books and keep up. That'd be different, but I just don't. So I don't have the time. Beginner into comics, I was like, yes, everything. I'm gonna learn everything. Like, oh, events, I'm excited. Now I'm just like, oh god, no, thank you. Bye.
Yep.
Except for Trial of the Amazons, I'll buy all that stuff because it's Amazon's. But I'm not excited about it.
You just like have to.
I just have to for them.
Yeah.
But if they ruin this new Green Arrow with an event, I'll be pissed. Because my boy's back. He's got his 90s outfit back on.
I saw
we are in this. Very excited. Well, anything else you want to say about the book?
I really liked it.
Yay!
Which ultimately I feel like is always a surprise for me when I read anything with Supra in the title. So
yay!
There we go. Really liked it. Yeah.
I knew you would.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's up.
Now we have another DC property we're reading on Sunday. Nice House on the Lake.
That's right.
Everybody keep your fingers crossed. Knock on some wood we don't get sick. I will lose power for some reason.
Hopefully I'm not sick then. Yeah, hopefully the power. Oh my gosh. Because we got more storms coming.
I know.
Girl. Not looking forward to it.
I'm just going to stay inside.
You should, yeah.
Just stay inside. It's going to be too wet out there.
You just need a big old generator.
Well, apparently, literally, everybody else went out and bought one. It's just us, like...
Aw. That's a bummer.
Yeah, the art... We didn't want to talk about the art. Art's incredible.
Yeah,
the art's incredible. Really nice. The color's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The facial expressions on everyone are perfect. And just the art direction throughout is so consistent and unique.
Yeah.
It's everything I could want, personally. And I love the retro-ness added into this style.
And the colors.
Me so happy.
The colors
so good.
were very nice. Yeah, the colors really made the art, I feel like.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to say that often, but, these were like, it was good.
It really deserves a hardcover oversized treatment. Like, legitimately, I really would like to see that, like, even like an Absolute or something. I don't know if it has enough in there to be one, but it's so beautiful. Listen, we are full of storms here. That's just how it is. At least I'm not in, like...
Seriously.
I'm outside of tornado territory, at least. I don't know how much anymore, because, global warming. But...
Yeah, we get those here, unfortunately.
Yep. But... I remember a few of them.
Yeah, I bet.
Question for Kristan. What super books have you read that you didn't like?
Jessica, it's a good question. The thing is, I think I've avoided the things I know I won't like at this point in my life. You know what I mean? Because, I've read Super Sons, really liked it. Obviously,
Superman Smashes the Klan.
Yeah, love Superman Smashes the Klan. But again, and I feel like that's its own, standalone thing, right? Yeah. These two Supergirl books. I can't even think of another super title I've read, actually. So...
I know. I'm sure you read All-Star Superman or something, or
no
Superman for All Seasons. Really?
No, I don't think I've read another standalone Superman story that wasn't Smashes the Klan.
I guess we could fix that.
I mean, people have been saying that for
reread
years, and it hasn't happened. Because
Goddamn, okay.
I'm not jumping for it. I'll do it, but I'm not jumping for it. So,
Well, yeah, then. Guys, we haven't decided what we're doing for next Wednesday. Sorry, our last show of the month will be next Wednesday, just because of how it's has to be.
Yeah.
A week from today, we haven't decided yet, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. If you all have any suggestions, just let us know.
I don't want to keep you on too long. I know you're not feeling well. I can see
surviving.
Your ghost leaving your body.
You can see my soul just.
Oh, I love Tomasi's Superman. We could do that. I need to reread it to see what would be a good start and end point. Edgar, I have it. It was just given to me by Omar like 2 weeks ago. So I plan on. I didn't hear good things about it. I don't care. I think it's beautiful, and the name is similar to mine. That's all I need.
It is a beautiful book. I believe I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
so that's fine. I think that's ultimately how I felt about it. It's been a while since I read it, but
yeah.
But your mileage may vary, you know.
Never know. Well, we can wrap up early so you can rest.
Sure, let's do it.
We can have a longer show on Sunday. Chat it up.
No, chat.
Everybody hang out with us Sunday, 11 Eastern. Nice house on the lake. As long as we're both well, we will hang out for longer and talk about things we've read, because I've read some things.
And if you want to see what else I'm reading, I will be doing a show with Mary tomorrow on my channel, The Comic Slayer. We're going to talk about our reading update, what we've read lately. You know, as long as I'm not... Yeah, as long as I'm awake, then that's going to happen.
All right, so check out our sponsor in stocktrades.com, and we will see you guys soon.
Have a good night.